Moin, ihr wunderbare Menschen des Interwebs. Ich begrüße euch ganz herzlich zurück zu meinem Let's Play von The Great Ace-Attorney Chronicles. Wir wollten uns auf den Weg zu Sholmes machen, da Iris schon mit Tee auf uns warten soll. Das ist die Maske von Kazuma. What was that? A man screaming in a most unflattering way. Do you think... could it have been Mr. Sholmes? Oh my, I do hope not. Mon ami, stop this disgraceful display. Who are these people? Look at their hair, it's bright red. I think they must be clients of Mr. Sholmes. Alright, you two, you're coming with me now, down to the clink. No, not in the prison, it is dark and damp and I don't like it. The darkness, it is my friend, I'm not scared. But you're always scared of the dark. Shut your mouth, you idiot! I will sit quietly in the dark and plan our next daring heist. Oh, sind das Diebe? I don't like this. I don't like it. Well, we will finish this down the yard. Now get moving. Bye then, Ginny. Have fun. Oh yeah, thanks, Iris, and thanks, you great detective. Makes a fine detective herself, doesn't she? Oh, Susie and Bruno! Hello, Iris. We're home. Well, did you find your daddy? Yes, we arrived at the hotel just before he and his friend. Oh, well, that's great news. I hope I will get to see my daddy again soon. Yes, of course. Dr. John H. Wilson. So, Iris, all that remains now is that greatest of problems known to man. But before we concern ourselves with that, I believe some tea is in order, don't you, my dear fellows? Warum hat er rote Haare? Sagen, die Haarfarbe steht ihm nicht wirklich. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Do I have a crumb or such like on my face? Not so much on your face as on your head, I would say. Come along then, everyone. I've brewed a lovely special blend. Time for tea. Whatever's going on here today. In that case, let us sit and drink now. For I am in fact expecting a guest later today. Okay. Ich werde gleich zu der Haarfarbe kommen. Ich würde mich aber gern einmal hier umgucken. Ich würde gern die Maske untersuchen. The mask Kazuma wore when he was assigned to Lord Von Zieks as his apprentice. When he cast it aside after the trial the other day, I just sort of picked it up. He ought to give it back to him, I suppose. But he has his memory back now, doesn't he? And I can't help feeling he might turn around and tell me boldly to wear it myself. But isn't he your best friend? This looks like last week's edition. What's that article circled in red ink there? It's in an advertisement column. It says... To the Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League? What's that? I don't know. I've never heard of it before, but... There's something on my face. Clearly this has something to do with that. Lively hair. Okay, a Red-Headed League article. Ich glaube, ansonsten haben wir hier nicht Neues oder Interessantes rumliegen, würde ich mal behaupten. Gut, dann gucken wir uns einmal den Artikel an. Get 4 pounds per week if you're a redhead. Get 4 pounds per week if you are a redhead. Okay, interesting. Moment, wir fangen mal mit dem Zeitungsartikel an. It looks as though someone circled an advertisement in this paper, Mr. Sholmes. To the red-headed league. Does that strike you in some way? I was thinking that just maybe it might be related to your bright red hair. So, at last you've learned to apply my methods, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry. In the first instant and quite indispensable observation. Believe me, I could have seen that hair with my eyes shut. So then, allow me to regale you with the details of my latest exploits. Okay, the Red-Headed League. Na, fangen wir doch mal hiermit an. So, what is the Red-Headed League, which seems to be the subject of the advertisement you've circled? You noticed it in the paper, then? That, my dear fellow, was going to be the source of this month's rent payment. It was? How? According to the advertisement, the Red-Headed League is a distinguished institution of fellows of unspecific governance. In fact, the only condition for becoming a member is having red hair. That doesn't entirely surprise me. But listen to what the lucky redheads receive once they join. An unconditional salary of £4 a week. Oh my, £4 a week? But why? What are they paying people for? That I don't know. No details are given in the advertisement. But surely every red-headed person in the country would be flocking to join in that case. You're right, Susie. There is no time to lose. I will put in my application at once. So will I just, on the off chance... Might be stretching a point, I think. The trouble is, they have a fixed number of members, you see. Oh, I see. So once a certain number of people have joined, no one else can. But as luck would have it, one member recently passed away. Isn't particularly lucky for the redhead in question, I feel, Mr. Sholmes. So you decided to try to join in his place? Correct. I mean, look at me. Have you ever seen such a red-headed fellow? No. So why? Why did I have to go so wrong? What on earth happened? A plunder, Mr. Naruhodo, though it pains me to admit it. What did you actually do to your hair, Mr. Sholmes? I'm glad you asked, Miss Susato. What you see atop my head is neither dyed nor a hairpiece. I changed the color of my hair overnight. By the wonders of chemistry. I was conducting some research into a method of rejuvenating spent tea leaves, and in the course of my work, I stumbled upon a potion that, when taken, turns one's hair aflamed like red. Would you like to try it? It will make every hair on your body perfectly crimson. I think I will pass. But Mr. Sholmes, is it quite safe to drink? Surely it's bad for you, isn't it? Ah, amateurs are always hampered by such fears. Oh, I should never have doubted you, Mr. Sholmes. You mean to say... But of course. To earn £4 per week, one must be prepared to turn a blind eye to a little danger. That degree of red signals more than just a little danger, surely. So anyway, Hurley left full of confidence yesterday with his new red hair. For the park on Lime Street, where the Red-Headed League were interviewing prospective new members. So what went wrong? The whole park was choked with red-headed folk like a coaster's orange sparrow. I queued for 8 hours solid before at last I reached the front. But when the panel of interviewers saw me, they immediately said, "Ah, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, are you in disguise to conduct an investigation?" So naturally, I had no choice but to reply, "Don't give me away." After which I could do little else but turn and leave. Then this morning, when I looked in the mirror, irritation stirred within me. So I turned the pair into the police. Oh dear, what a disaster. For Hurley and those two redheads. Mr. Sholmes, who were the two gentlemen that were here before? Oh, just a pair of petty criminals, nothing of significance. Of course, they have to make a living somehow. And when the mood takes me, I'm willing to turn a blind eye to all manner of infractions. When the mood takes you? All manner of infractions? But when such fellows set their sights on Mr. Hollock Sholmes, well, that's when their luck runs out. Oh my, you were the target of a crime, Mr. Sholmes? But I quickly devised a plan to entrap them and deliver them to our young detective ally. You should have asked Rexy to come too. We could have had an arresting tea party. I did send word, but no answer was forthcoming. The man is consummately in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a word for it, I'm sure. Ah, I have it. A bungler, that's the word. It's a good job he's not here to hear you say that. So those redheads had been up to no good? I wonder what the man did. Mr. Sholmes, isn't it about time you told us the truth? Just over a week ago you said to us... I will now tell you something of the first importance, my dear fellow. Great detectives are wont to lie. It will serve you well to remember that. That case aboard the SS Beria in January, Kazuma wasn't killed, and you knew he wasn't dead at the time. So what was really going on? The fellow was unconscious for a very long time. If he hadn't regained consciousness when he did, his life would have been in mortal peril. Of course, a side effect of the prolonged comatose state was amnesia, as you now know. It was a simple enough task to silence the crew. But how? After they'd carried him out of the cabin, I assembled them in the lobby area. Then I made them swear to leave him unconscious and have him unlaid from the ship in Hong Kong as a murdered corpse. Oh, how horrible. It was necessary to find some material with which to persuade the crewmen to keep their word, of course. But why? Why to do it in the first place? I will be at liberty to elaborate in due course. But for the time being, I would like to reassure you, I didn't foresee subsequent events. What events? His disappearance in Hong Kong. I believe I may have made a gross error of judgment. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, you mentioned before that you were expecting a guest today. Indeed, Miss Susato, that is correct. Not another of those red-headed gentlemen that were here before? Not at all. They were petty villains. The guest I'm expecting is... a client. Oh. A young gentlewoman who wishes to appoint the services of this great detective, no less. Oh, how wonderful, Mr. Sholmes. You must stay and observe the fashion in which a great detective receives his customers. Must we? I have you in my clutches now, Rand, just as I have you in my clutches, redheads. That hearty laugh is making rather sinister thoughts, I feel. You know, the lady isn't due for another hour yet. Don't feel as though you must wait around if you have other things to do. Okay. Ich muss sagen, Sherlock geht mir so hart auf die Eier mit seinem permanenten... Ich sage es dir, ich kann es dir jetzt nicht sagen. Ich werde es dir irgendwann sagen. Mein Gott, sag es mir doch einfach. Sag es mir doch endlich. Was ist so schlimm daran? Also, es muss ja einen Grund haben. Er muss sich dabei ja was gedacht haben. Also er muss ja... Es muss irgendwas mit Kazuma zu tun haben, mit dem Namen Asogi oder... Das muss wahrscheinlich auch mit eben den Fall zu tun haben vor 10 Jahren. Und ich finde es Tragisch, dass dieser Mann nicht seinen Mund aufbekommt. Das nervt mich. Nervt das, dass der einfach nichts sagt. Okay, wir können mit Iris können wir anscheinend nicht reden. Ups, da wollte ich nicht draufklicken. Ich wollte wieder rüber. Nein! Ich muss hier mal weg. So, jetzt aber. Ich wollte hier wieder rüber switchen. Okay, nee, wir können nicht mit Iris reden, leider. Gut. Dann ist die Frage eigentlich... müssten wir ja dann zum Chiefs Office gehen von Lord Strongheart. Aber bevor wir das machen werden, gibt es hier nochmal einen Cut. Ich bedanke mich ganz herzlich fürs Zusehen. Hoffe, ihr hattet Spaß. Und wenn ihr mögt, sehen wir uns sehr, sehr gerne im nächsten Part wieder. Bis dahin. Ciao.